The city didn't die because aliens attacked it. It died because someone signed a document. The room was buried 6 levels underground. No windows. No flags. No speeches. Just steel, glass, and truth that wasn't meant to survive. Lieutenant Aisha ISA stood alone at a terminal she wasn't authorized to access. Her clearance badge shouldn't have worked. It did. That was the first sign. Files unfolded across the screen: evacuation schedules, threat projections, alien fleet probability curves. Then one document stopped her breath. Civilian evacuation, status, delayed. Reason, strategic non-interference. Aisha scrolled. Her hands started shaking. The evacuation had been planned. Approved. Funded. Then cancelled. She checked the authorization. Her jaw clenched. The signature belonged to Earth High Command. The same people now calling the attack a surprise. This wasn't negligence, she whispered. This was permission. A soft click behind her. She turned. Colonel Hayes stood there. Calm. Almost tired. You weren't supposed to see that, he said. Aisha didn't turn away from the screen. You let them die, she said. Hayes exhaled. We let the war begin. They were going to attack eventually, Hayes said, stepping closer. We just chose where. Aisha spun around. That was a city. That was leverage, Hayes replied. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. You think people unite over peace, he continued. No. They unite over blood. Aisha's eyes burned. You could have evacuated them. And lose the moment. Hayes snapped. No massacre, no funding. No fear, no unity. No war, no access to alien technology. He leaned in. History doesn't remember cities. It remembers outcomes. Aisha shook her head slowly. You're not defending Earth, she said. You're selling it. Hayes smiled thinly. Earth was never innocent, he said. It was just waiting. Security alarms began to rise. Hayes stepped back. You have a choice, he said. Disappear quietly, or become a problem we erase. Aisha stared at the screen one last time. Then she pulled the data drive out. I already made my choice. She ran. Kyle stood motionless as the hologram flickered to life. The image was shaky. Corrupted. Human footage. Burning streets. Screaming civilians. The attack his father had led. The council wanted him to watch. The Prime Regent's voice echoed. This is the cost of mercy, the Regent said. Observe the consequence of hesitation. Kyle didn't look away. But something felt wrong. The footage shifted. A new layer appeared, human command chatter. Time-stamped. Pre-attack. Kyle narrowed his eyes. They knew, he said quietly. The council stirred. The evacuation was cancelled before we arrived, Kyle continued. They left their civilians exposed. The Regent's gaze sharpened. Kyle turned toward the chamber. You didn't punish humans, he said. You cooperated with their leadership. Silence. That silence was confirmation. The Regent spoke slowly. War requires consent, the Regent said. Sometimes, it is silent. Kyle laughed once. Cold. Broken. I betrayed my people to save innocents, he said. And the innocents were offered willingly. The Regent stepped forward. Now you understand, the Regent said. There are no clean sides. Kyle's voice hardened. Then stop pretending this is justice. The Regent's reply was immediate. This is governance. General Kale stood alone in Kyle's cell later. Kyle didn't turn to face him. They knew, Kyle said. Did you? Kyle didn't answer at first. Yes, he said finally. Kyle closed his eyes. You still followed the order. Kyle's voice was heavy. If we hadn't struck, Earth would have provoked something worse. This way. This way you killed children with permission, Kyle cut in. Kyle stepped closer. You think rebellion will save them? He asked. You think exposure will change anything? Kyle turned. No, he said. But silence guarantees nothing ever will. Kyle looked at his son. Really looked. And for the first time, fear crossed his face. You're not asking for peace anymore, Kyle said. Kyle's reply was quiet. I'm asking for truth. Aisha ran through abandoned tunnels as sirens wailed above. She reached a dead drop point. Hands shaking, she uploaded the files. Public networks. Independent channels. Dark streams. Everywhere. Her message was simple. They knew. They chose this. A moment later, confirmation pings flooded in. It was out. The truth was loose. She collapsed against the wall. Crying didn't come. Only exhaustion. Footsteps echoed. She reached for her weapon. Too late. Soldiers surrounded her. Hayes stepped forward from the shadows. You could have walked away, he said. Aisha looked up. I couldn't live with it, she replied. Hayes nodded once. That's the tragedy of conscience, he said. It's bad for survival. They dragged her away. Reports flooded the chamber. Human unrest. Riots. Leaks. The regent slammed his staff. The humans fracture, a counselor said. Their unity is collapsing. Kyle watched from his containment field. You wanted war, Kyle said. Congratulations. You've destabilized both worlds. The regent studied him. No, the regent said. We've revealed what they are. Kyle met his gaze. And what does that make us? The regent didn't answer. Instead, he turned to the guards. Prepare the judgment, he ordered. Kyle didn't resist as they restrained him. But his eyes burned with something new. Not hope. Resolve. Aisha sat in a dark cell. Her message played silently on a cracked monitor. People were watching. Arguing. Fighting. The lie was bleeding out. Kyle stood before a sealed chamber. Execution. Exile. Something worse. He didn't ask. The war didn't begin with an invasion. It began with agreement. On Earth, they called it strategy. On Alindra, they called it order. History would call it something else.